oil, that's what's in it. About 60, 70%, maybe even 80% is that. So that's the problem. Extra virgin olive oil is okay. Saute doesn't have a high smoke point. So if you want to do deep frying, like for French fries, coconut oil is perfect. The palm oil is perfect. Ghee is just too expensive for that. But ghee is excellent for fried eggs, anything you want. High smoke point, good taste. So it's clarified butter. It's very, very good. They've got it here. No canola oil, no soy oil. Those are horrible oils. Okay, other questions? Little better? Little better?
First question?
What about peanut oil for frying?
Can't hear you.
You'll have to talk loud.
Oh, it's not coming to me, it's coming to that.
What about peanut oil for frying?
Good question. What about peanut oil? Peanut oil typically has a lot of pesticides on it. So if it's organic, it's great. I mean, they do that to fry chicken in. It's beautiful. But hard to get organically. That's the only negative. Just like coffee. Coffee is one of the most heavily pesticided crops there are. I drink a ton of coffee. You also get the water from the coffee. Anybody saying coffee dehydrates you? Well, it can't because you're drinking so much liquid. If I drink a cup, I'm not excreting a cup and a half, so I don't know what they're talking about. But make sure it's organic. That's the biggest thing in the oils.
Tell me the oils that you recommend for your brain, the good fats for your body that you recommend.
Well, there's a big thing with the ketogenic diet. The best fats for your brain is saturated fats, and medium chain triglycerides is the big thing. Those are, I mean, there's a few diets out, but your brain wants to run on fat. So these are called ketones. They're like soluble fatty acids. Brain does not want sugar. So it does not want to be overdosed on sugar. It can run on it, but it's forced to. Needs about 1/3 the amount of sugar we're dosing it with. So coconut oil is good for that. Cheese is good for that. Just not carbs. Doesn't want the carb. And you're going to feel way the heck better. You can eat a chunk of cheese. You can eat anything but carbs, and you're not going to feel tired. You're not going to feel bloated. You're supposed to be running on your own body fat. You have a big salad, which you can do. So I'll have a big salad with dressing, because you're not going to eat the damn salad if the dressing isn't good. So I'm big on making my own dressings. Have a big salad, and you start running on your own body fat. It is real easy. And they have great dressings here, too, by the way. There's one real good brand that's against the wall that's organic. And that's the biggest thing. So when you look at the oils they use in mayonnaise and salad dressings, make sure it's sunflower, safflower. Too many times it's soy and canola because these companies don't know. But the ones that really do understand something don't do it. They're sunflower, safflower. That's great. Good question.
I wanted to know about fish oils because you don't like them and the reasoning behind it.
Yeah, big question, fish oil. Fish oil are all derivatives. That's DHA, EPA, okay? EPA has 5 double bonds, DHA has 6. These things go rancid, turn bad instantaneously at room temperature. Fish oil is so a fish doesn't freeze. It's antifreeze for a fish. So fish swim around in 30, 40 degree water, right? It's freezing. I throw you in there, you're going to turn into an iceberg and die. So nature has 2 ways to go. I can't have the fish freezing because its blood is high water. It'd freeze. So there's only 2 things I can do. I can have alcohol, you'd have a drunk fish, or I can have long chain fatty acids, which is EPA, DHA. And that's wonderful, except nobody asked the question, what happens to this stuff at room temperature? Or worse, you're at 98.6, so we're close to 100. The fish is at 40, maybe 50. Infinitely awful, ruin instantly. Furthermore, if you take a lot of fish oil, it displaces the parent omega-6 and parent omega-3 in the brain and other tissues. So your brain is supposed to have the parents. Take that fish oil, displaces it. Overdosing on fish oil. It's a super pharmacologic overdose. The brain uses 7.2 milligrams a day. Nobody asked this. Now, U.S. Department of Agriculture did this, and National Institutes of Health measured it back in 2010. I've never seen anybody really report on it and feature it. It's been referenced, but nobody... Wouldn't that be the first question you would ask? How much does the brain use if I'm taking this stuff? Nobody does. Just you need more and more and more. 7.2 milligrams, and take a look at how much is in a fish oil capsule. Or not milligrams. I think it's milligrams. 7.2 milligrams. 1,000. So we're getting from 20 to 500 times overdose on a daily basis. It's poison. Told you your skin has none of this stuff in it. Well, guess what? You take that amount of fish oil, it's going to go into the skin. Age spots. It's ruining everything. I talk about it in the book. Another con job. Where do you think this came from? Spoiled fish. When it started out, they had fish they couldn't sell to the good restaurant. So they go, what the heck am I going to do with it? Well, grind it up. Animal feed. Then, okay, what's a better animal? People. They're stupider than the animals. The animal won't eat the crap, but the people will. Especially if it tastes bad, they think it's even better for them. They'll eat the rind, they'll do anything. And they're all desperate. So I was around when they started this, and they couldn't sell it. They couldn't give it away. But 20 years and hundreds of millions of dollars later, it's the #1 supplement in America, killing you. It's going to be horrible. It can't... Remember I asked you metabolic pathways? How does this help a heart? There's none of this in the heart. There's none of this doing anything. Oh, omega-6 is horrible, and this competes with omega-6. That's your answer? That is your answer. It's insane. Horrible. You don't need any of it. Much, much better with the plant-based oils. Your body makes the derivatives as needed. Almost nothing. From the parents, body makes the derivatives. So it's all in the book there. You have no issue. Don't need fish oil. You want to eat fish, that's fine. But you don't need fish oil. It's a highly processed food. Think about how they're getting it. They're grinding up and juicing the fish. Plus, it's the wrong composition. I don't even care how they get it. I don't care about the mercury. I don't care about any of that. The structure isn't what you want. You're taking a poison. Do you want a purified poison? A perfect poison? It's still a poison. Nobody asked that, but it's all in the book, and it's going to shock you. And I get criticized. I've written articles that are superb articles. They pulled them because so many people complained about the fish oil stuff. Oh, you have patents on plant-based oils. The article's no good. I said, was there anything wrong with the science? No. I said, so what are you retracting the article for? This is how bad publishing is. And I had a brilliant editor who wrote 4 textbooks, or was the editor in cell membrane structure and physiology. This is all he does. It was very hard to get the article published because he was so hard. He's a PhD biochemist, professor in cell membrane oxidation. He said this article has to be published, and they retracted. It's horrible.
Okay, Brian. Is there a sensor for cholesterol in particular?
Excellent question. We're talking about cholesterol. Is there a sensor for cholesterol? Well, the first thing you need to know is there's a sensor for glucose, sugar. It's good to 1 part in 1,000, by the way. It means every one of us, unless you're diabetic, has the same blood sugar to 1 part, 1 drop in 1,000 drops. Calcium, potassium, sodium, sensors. No. There's no sensor for cholesterol. When I saw that, that's all I needed to see. Oh, it's a genetic defect is what the geniuses will tell you. No, there's no defect. What it's called is a dependent variable. When everything else is fixed, one has to have a degree of freedom. One has to be able to float. That's the cholesterol. It doesn't matter what the number is. Remember I told you structure? What's LDL cholesterol do? Transports the PEOs. So if it's transporting the garbage oil you got at the supermarket, the canola oil or any processed refined oil, it's transporting a poison. That's the deal. But if it's not transporting a poison, you don't care what the number is. It's irrelevant. This is why it doesn't work. Excellent question.
You mentioned oils like palm oil, coconut oil. I presume they're saturated fats. What about normal dietary food that you eat? Is there a source of saturated?
Question is, saturated fats are okay. Monounsaturated fats are okay. The question, what kind of food do you normally eat? I just minimize the carbs.
Well, saturated fats.
For saturated fats, well, I mean, bacon's going to have, if it's saturated, it's going to be a block. It's going to stay pretty solid at room temperature, like butter. There's saturated fat. There's also monounsaturated, which is olive oil. Olive oil, by the way, is a non-essential, so your body makes it. You don't need it. Now, it's okay to fry in, but don't think olive oil is any big healthy thing, and it's not the reason they're okay over in Europe. They're sick as heck over there now, too, because they're following our brilliant recommendations. But olive oil isn't the answer. There's very few PEOs in it. Saturated fats, it's okay, and it fills you up quick. It's like cheese. Well, typically have a fair amount of saturated fat, but you can't keep eating it. You can't eat a pound of cheese. So if you eat a chunk, you're going to get full. Remember I told you that's what your body wants to eat is fat? That's it. So, I mean, I don't really monitor it. Now, if you're looking to lose weight, if you eat a lot of saturated fat, your body isn't going to need to burn the fat you've got. So you're not going to gain fat. By the way, fat can't go to fat. I didn't say that. To get fat, you need to have an insulin response, and that only happens from a carbohydrate. Period. Anybody telling you fat makes you fat is an idiot. They need to get back into a medical library and learn something instead of just yakking. Now, you would think that. I'm not going to argue that. It's intuitively, well, of course fat goes to fat. Why? Yeah, I haven't thought about it, It doesn't. So, very, very counterintuitive. But if you eat a lot of fat, you're going to be full and you're not going to burn your own body fat. So that's why the 24-hour diet gets into that. Do I want to lose weight? Do I want to stay the same? Or do I want to gain weight? Typically, you don't want to gain weight, but if you're on a trip or something, you're on a cruise, you're going to gain weight. So the question becomes, how the hell do I lose this? And that's what you need to know how to do it. But it's easy to do. You can eat whatever the heck you want for a couple of days, and 2-3 days later, it's all gone. And it's not hard. The biggest thing is the protein powder fruit smoothie. And any of the fruit, watermelon, cantaloupe, strawberries, peaches, they're excellent. The only thing you can't have is dried fruit or juice, because it's liquid sugar. But fruit has 1/4 to 1/2 of the glycemic load of anything else. So if I ate the same amount of pie and the same amount of peaches, it wouldn't even be close on how much blood sugar you get, which means I get half as fat. And I measured this with my wife. Gave her 10 ounces of peaches. Blood sugar went up 10 points, or 12 points. It should have gone up 150. I'm going, what the heck is this? So I measured it again, same number. So we're doing this tomorrow. It can't be right. Remember I told you there's different pathways depending on the sugars? All doesn't hit the bloodstream. You just go to it. So the second day it was basically the same thing. It was 10 or 14, which isn't, the meters aren't that accurate. But it was the same thing. It should have been the 150. It was, my goodness. The diabetic physicians don't know this. Because the biggest thing with a diabetic is eating garbage all night long. Pizza, cakes, candy, chips, And at night is the worst time to eat any of that junk. Carbohydrates are worse because your blood sugar stays elevated all night and you gain the fat. So it is the worst thing. Also, every ounce of carbohydrate you eat, 3 ounces of water. So if you wolf down that pizza, you need 1/4 water. I used to do it. And I always wonder, why the heck do I need to be drinking all this water? It's a sponge. So if you want to be bloated with water weight, high carb diet. Oh, you stop the carbs, you lose the water weight. Is what the anti-protein, high-fat diets say. Well, are you advocating walking around bloated like a sponge? That's what you're telling me, which is ridiculous. So, a couple of days, you lose the water weight, you lose the carbs, and then you just lose body fat. So they're right when they say the first day or so, you lose a lot of weight in the water because you don't need it, you're not eating the carbs. But from day 3 on, you're losing all fat. It's only that much water.
More information, please, on prostate cancer.
All cancers are the same thing. What's the question?
Prostate precancer at this point.
Well, the question was prostate precancer, but remember, there's one cause of cancer. Don't care where it is. And it just depends where that lack of cellular oxygen is, what tissue, the heart, the lungs, the prostate, breast, whatever it is, uterus, happens to be the most oxygen deficient is where the cancer is going to come. So the answer is always the same. Increase the cellular oxygen with those oils. That is the number one thing. And unless you take a poison or radiation dose, I don't know how you're going to get cancer. You're not getting it from lack of cellular oxygen because you're not going to have a lack of cellular oxygen. So that cause is gone. And for 99% of the people, it's over. Cancer does not have to be in your future. And then if you want to really make sure you don't, the Essiac is phenomenal for anti-prostate. Phenomenal. It shrinks. And along with the oils, it's just phenomenal. It's also like if you don't want to get colon cancer, same thing, the oils, and then the liquid herbal just coats the whole digestive system. We've had surgeons that were impressed because the patients took the liquid herbal after they had cancer, but they didn't have to remove the whole colon. They could keep enough in so they didn't have to do. Just an ounce a day is the normal amount. If you don't have cancer, an ounce a day of the Essiac is perfect. And you can take it in the morning, no food for 10 minutes. You can take it with the oils if you want. If you're taking a lot, if you do have cancer, you take it at bed too. Taking things at bed are good if you're taking a higher dose because you recuperate at bedtime. So if there's any athletes, bedtime oils are excellent for recuperating. Big athletic performance too.
Is there any protection for autoimmune disorders and electromagnetic fields with PEOs?
Yeah, it's a good question. Autoimmune disorders. I haven't thought about that much. I don't know where those come from. Diabetes, I'll tell you, because a really sharp guy in Scotland said what happens is with the highs and lows in diabetes, with the ping-ponging in blood sugar, your brain thinks it's being deprived of fuel, because typically they're high carbers. They're not eating enough of the fats. So to stop the ping pong, to get that low, because whenever you have a lot of carbs, you're screaming, right? Because your body's going, get this garbage out of me. That's the adrenaline. Your heart's going boom, 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 boom. You eat a hot fudge sundae, boom, 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 and you're wired because your body is going absolutely nuts. We were never designed to do anything like that. And then you get a low. So to stop your brain from getting low, body goes, I got to kick out the pancreas and stop it from spitting out insulin. So that made a lot of sense to me. I've never seen anybody else say that, but that makes a lot of sense caused by that. The other stuff with arthritis, I'm not sure why you get those, but the PGE1 from the anti-inflammatory will help a lot. It's worth trying the oils, and you're going to know within a month. That's the great thing. Yeah.
What about for electromagnetic fields?
Electromagnetic, I don't think it's going to do much. Although, I can't even say that because the whole cell membrane is electrical. So it's going to work right. It's the proper insulator. I mean, it's a conductor. So I'm not too worried about the electromagnetic stuff if you have these oils. Yeah, it's going to make us work better. That you can take to the bank.
I don't have a question.
Aloe vera, I think it soothes. It's not going to hurt you. I don't study it. It's probably pretty good, but I know what the Essiac does because I've got 25 years of experience with that. But I've heard good things with aloe vera. And they should be compatible, too. I mean,
Okay, I don't have a question. What I have is something I'd like to state. I have my own library, and it's like asking 10 Fibonacci experts a question and getting 15 answers out of it, okay? Now, a couple of years ago, I had my veins taken out, the peripheral veins in my legs, because there was reflux. I had chunks taken out of my legs for several reasons, and it was getting close to the point where they were going to cut my legs off. Now, for a long time, I have had to get up to stand up by using my hands to support me. About 8 weeks ago, I started this PEO. I've been taking triple doses of it every day, and I'm going to show you something.
Jeez. You used to have to use your hands to get up. Wow. You say 3 weeks?
8 weeks.
8 weeks still. Very impressive, thanks. Very impressive. Couldn't stand up without using the hands, so the increased blood flow because of the oil is just what I told you. 8 weeks. Could stand up now. Pretty impressive. That's pretty impressive. Glad to be of service. Can you use the oils on the skin? The answer is yeah. They do penetrate the skin. I like having them, eating them, so it gets internally. The answer is yeah, you can, but there's other oils you can put. You can put coconut oil on your skin. This makes the skin, so you don't really need it on top of it too. I'd rather see you eat it and get the benefit that way. Good question.
When you go to the emergency room and you're dehydrated, they tell you to drink a half a gallon of water. Drink water. And I think you said don't worry about drinking water.
Normally, question is drinking water. If you're not thirsty and you're not outside, you don't force feed yourself water. If you're dehydrated, that's a different story. So I can't complain about the emergency room people. But under normal circumstances, 8 glasses of 8 ounces of water a day, lunatic. See all these, especially women, slugging down water, running in Memorial Park. It's crazy. Remember, there's a lot of water and food, but if you're dehydrated, totally different story. That's because you're probably outside cooking. That's very different. So you have a thirst, and your thirst is one of your most overly sensitive things there are. So if you're thirsty as heck, you're about 2% towards dehydration. Not even close. It would take it's almost impossible to do on your own unless you're an athlete outside for hours or something crazy. Almost never happens. Good question.
I have two things that I think it's helped with. 5 years ago, I was diagnosed with fibromyalgia, and I've been on prescription meds, which did nothing, but I got the side effects from it, really didn't help. And I've been on the PEOs. I was on them for about 8 weeks, and my symptoms are like 80% better.
So fibromyalgia, the pain and joint. See, anti-inflammatory from the PGE1. Excellent.
I had lost the use of my thumb. It was so swollen.
So the thumb is usable now.
Yes. I can
Impressive.
do this. Couldn't even
Very
do
impressive.
that.
Great. Excellent question. Alzheimer's, dementia. There's about 40 million, at least, capillaries in the brain. Capillaries are very thin. You know, arteries for blood flow. That's where all the nutrient transfer hits. They're one cell thick, okay? All parent omega-6. So I'm firmly convinced that Alzheimer's is caused by clogging of these things. Very hard to see on an MRI or something. You need sophisticated software to tell it's happened. The other thing is, beta amyloid is what they look at spilling out. You know, these plaques, you all hear about that. It's on 60 Minutes all the time, amyloid plaques. Well, remember, the cell membrane is half fat, half protein. So if the structure is screwed up with the fats, the oils, you get protein leak. It just spills out of the cell. It's like you have a bag of fluid and it just pops. It spills out. So that's why scraping it off is going to do nothing. You have a deficient cellular. I don't know if people getting Alzheimer's that are taking these oils. I don't buy it's going to happen. Never used to happen, shouldn't happen. It's got to be tied to the adulterated oils. That's a guess on my part, and I said I wouldn't offer guesses, but it's a highly educated guess. And at, 1 cell thick on a capillary, that's real easy to clog with adulterated oils. That's where my money is, and that's why they get nowhere. They're not looking at that. All they're looking at is scraping off amyloid, and it does nothing. Good question.
Along with the other problems I was discussing with you about the cancer, I've also had low sodium for many years, and for some reason I cannot get that back up. Will this help this?
That I don't know. That's out of my league with the sodium. Now, sodium calcium is or sodium potassium is important. Well, are you eating salt? They always tell you to restrict salt. That's another one. You don't need to restrict salt. Now, flour of the ocean is an excellent salt. The sea salts are excellent. You don't want regular supermarket salt. That's made for the chemical industry. It's horrible. Don't need iodized salt. A regular salt from the sea or something is just fine. But you need salt. You can't overdose on salt. That's more nonsense. Are you eating enough salt, or are you restricting it? Get some of the salt here, and just ask them, do you have flour of the ocean? That's one brand. I think it's Celtic salt. But you got it? I like ones from the sea. I'm not big on the land-based ones. This flour of the ocean thing is one of the best, flavoring salts at the end. You don't throw it in a pot of water. It's too much money. But you just use a little of it on any of the vegetables. It's excellent on. It's excellent on meat. But all the vegetables, always a little bit of salt. So I don't care if it's broccoli, cauliflower, tomatoes. Always put some salt. You cannot have too much salt. You have what's called antidiuretic hormone. It takes care of the excess water, and it's all made up nonsense. They don't have a clue, so they make up something. Restricting salt is insane. But the salt we're getting is adulterated, just like the oils. So you got to be careful with that one word. Unadulterated or adulterated. Changes everything, and nobody uses that word unadulterated.
Hey, Brian, I have 3 quick questions. I'm a whiskey drinker. It has 0 carbs. Whiskey.
Okay, question. Or answer. It's not glycemic carbs, but it does have a calorie content. So your body is going to burn it up, but hard liquor isn't going to make you fat. That's the question.
Okay. And number 2.
Compared to wine, say.
And do you count, you said low carbs. Do you count carbs? Like I have a few carbs during the day. Is there a number that you...
Yeah, I like 12 teaspoons of sugar a day, 10 to 12. So multiply it by 20, 240 calories of carbohydrate a day, and that's not much. So I do 1 slice of bread if I want tuna fish. If you want pasta, a small thing, which is what they used to do over in Italy till we ruined them. The difference will be profound. And if you want the sweet tooth fulfilled, the protein powder fruit smoothie is biggest bang for the buck. That fruit, I freeze it, so that's the ice cube. I don't need ice cubes. Take a scoop of the protein powder, put in as much of the fruit you want. 8 ounces, 10 ounces, enough water for the right consistency, and it makes it almost like a milkshake-ish. I mean, it's not milk, but it's not a fruit frozen slush ice kind of a thing. And it hits your sweet tooth, and you get, like I said, 1/4 to 1/2 of the glycemic sugar rise. So you'll go to bed, and it's all water too. So you'll go to bed, you'll wake up in the morning, you're thinner, and you feel great. Just try it once. You'll be sold yourself. It's in both books.
And do you have any thoughts on apple cider vinegar?
The apple cider vinegar is fine. It's not as good as they say, in my opinion, because they always overblow everything. It's acidic. It's going to kill a lot of stuff. It's going to do a lot of what they say, but it's not the be-all, end all. Nothing beats the PEOs. I mean, that is fundamental because it's making the cell tissue. Everything else is okay to add, but if you don't have this fixed, it's like you're building a house and you don't have wood. You have newspaper, but you painted it real well and you had sprinkles on it and you did I don't care, it's going to tear right down. It's the same damn thing. The oils are the brick and mortar. So everything else is okay, but if you don't solve that problem, you're going to be ill. It's only a matter of when.
So how do you feel about stevia?
Stevia is typically processed. It's an herbal thing. It doesn't have the glycemic problem, so it's better. But typically, you need to add some real sugar with it because it tastes awful. Yeah, I used to play around with that when it first came out, but it is processed. I still wouldn't have more than 1 diet soda a day. I'm just not big on it. You can have 1 a day. There are some that do. I think Virgil's is a real good brand. I don't know if you have it or not. It's worth looking at. think Virgil's has stevia, but they have a root beer and a cream that are pretty darn good. And the cola's no good in my opinion, but the other two are okay. But you just got to try them and see if you like them. I don't like the sugar alcohol ones that well. But again, if you're having one a day, it's no big deal.
It's what I usually sweeten like my protein. I usually drink a protein drink. That's usually what
I would use fruit to sweeten it. Freeze that fruit, and that's going to hit the sweet tooth on top of it. You get double bang. I'm telling you, you have that fruit smoothie protein powder thing, you will be so full because you have like a quart of water. Remember I told you don't overdose on water? Well, you're not, but you're just drinking it. So with the fruit in there, it's okay. It's not, you could put a banana split, you could put a pizza, you could put a chocolate cake in front of you. You're not going to want to touch the damn thing. It is superb negative feedback. There's nothing better in the world. Because we do have a sweet tooth. It's just not for made up carbohydrates. It's for fruit. Now, there's actually PEOs in the fruit, but you need a fair amount of it. It's in there. It's in vegetables too. So nature has this. We're just supposed to eat a lot of it. And if you look at, apes and stuff, they eat a ton of vegetation. That's their whole job, day and night, eating. Like an elephant or a rhinoceros. You go, they're vegetarians, they are. But they're eating day and night. And we don't have that long of a digestive tract. And you shouldn't be making eating a second job. This is where these nuts saying eat 6 times a day, that came from the carbohydrate diet. Because everybody is so starving from the sugar low, because it told you to eat the carbs, got to eat again. Pancreas is designed to produce insulin twice a day. That's it. You go to 3, okay, you start going above 3, you're going to blow it out. And I've talked to diabetic physicians, they don't think it can blow it out, but again, if it doesn't manufacture and store it, I'm telling you to produce something you don't have. I mean, I don't buy it. I don't want to go there. And if you eat the right stuff, you're not eating a human billy goat. How's my wife? She's type 1 diabetic. Really minimized the retinopathy and the neuropathy. She almost has no neuropathy. She used to have all this hairspray with formaldehyde in it, so it gave her a benign brain tumor, which was horrible. Yeah, she would spray this for 25 years. Took it off the market after she gets a tumor and listened to a doctor for radiation, made it worse. And now she's in a wheelchair. She had a brain hemorrhage because the radiation cooked it. So, horrible case. Gorgeous woman, stuck in a wheelchair. And no circulation, or she has great circulation because of the oils. So she has a swollen foot because half of her nerve, one side of her body doesn't work. So the foot swells, and all the doctors look at it and go, you don't have any blood flow. I said, she's got blood flow. So every time they check it, perfect, because of the oils. She'd probably be blind now, because she didn't used to control the blood sugars before. She didn't listen. And it was always, I met the doctor, he says, I can't be diabetic. Do you know him? I said, no, I don't know this guy, but he's looking at your eyes. He's not going to lie. I don't know him. He's not going to make it up.
Frank, would you mind sharing the story of your dad when you flew up there? When you went to the...
Oh, yeah.
That's a great story.
Yeah. So it does a lot. Okay, but for another story, so it's really, really helped her phenomenally. Yeah, my dad, of course, relatives don't listen. So don't think I'm anything special. Parents didn't listen to any of this either. Great books. Did you read it? Yeah. I asked one question. Can't answer it. I said, don't tell me you read it. You didn't read the damn thing. Well, it's complicated. I said, just say you didn't read it. But they don't listen to you. So I get a phone call up, my parents, because they live in Massachusetts. I live in here, Houston. Well, your father's in the hospital. He had a stage 1 tumor in his urethra, and then he hurt his leg, his hip or something. So he's in there for that. But the surgeon took out the tumor thing, and it's inflamed like heck. Bottom line, sepsis. So sepsis is an inflammation that could kill you, and it does kill a lot of people. So he's in the hospital almost, I think, 21 days. So I said, I'll be up there on the plane this way. I don't, it's okay, but he's bad. I said, I'll be there this weekend. So I see the doctor, tell him what I do, and He's a good surgeon, but I mean, I go out and see my father. He's screaming every time he urinates. I mean, there's blood in the urine all the time. It looks like hell. And, I mean, the guy's dying. And my mother goes, I don't even know if he's going to live. I said, you know, you wait till now to tell me this? So I said, look, Doc, I'll take responsibility for all this. He's taken triple these oils. He's taken a liquid herbal. Probably gave him the 2 minerals, too, but it was the oil and the herbal. I said, I want 3 days. And I could have even been above 3 times the dose, maybe 4. Day 3, catheters out. The blood in the urine's gone, healing, no screaming when he's going to the bathroom, and he's out 6 days. And now, big believers. And even the doctor says, keep taking what your son told him to take. But this is what it takes. They don't believe you. I do what my doctor said. Well, the patient's dying. Obviously, he doesn't know what the heck to do here. Well, that's why he let me do what I wanted. Losing him anyway. I don't have much to lose. But at least he was good enough to go, you know, this doesn't look like it's going to cause harm. Wouldn't matter what he said because I was going to make him do it. But again, this is what I do. It was the same thing when my wife was in the hospital and they started. They don't know what EFAs are. They don't know what this is. I said, this is all I do. I have a pharmaceutical company and I'll take responsibility for this. And if you don't do it, she's going to have a problem. You're going to have a lawsuit. Oh, you got to be brutal. But they work for you. You don't work for them. A doctor should do what you're asking him to do. And they don't know everything. But this was really cool with my father. So, I mean, now, both of them just can't believe what it does. Yeah, good.
I have a question. I use the Celtic salt, but it doesn't have iodine in it. Do you need iodine for your thyroid?
Yeah, it's a good question. Sea salts may not have iodine in it. It doesn't bother me.
Another question. If you already have a thyroid problem, would the oils be a benefit to you?
Yeah, the oils don't fix a thyroid. I have low thyroid myself. I spent 2 years trying to see if the oils would compensate. And the doctor kept calling, you're gonna be exhausted, you're gonna get fat as heck. I said, I don't have any of that. Now my neck was swollen because it's trying to make more hormone when it couldn't. But I was never tired, so the oils compensate the dickens out of it, but it won't bring back a thyroid. I tried. It's a good question. I don't know what's causing it, but that's another rampant. Typically everything's tied to the oils, but I don't see a lot of that in that organ. I don't know. But I can minimize the problem once you have it. That's what I like. It's like if you're diabetic, I can minimize the retinopathy and neuropathy issues with the oils. Good question. Good question.
I read on the internet that the oils are best taken on an empty stomach, but the label on the bottle says with or without food.
Oh, question. Can you take the oils empty stomach or full stomach? I like empty stomach just because it doesn't matter much. But if you take it with food, the oils fulfill your appetite so much, you could get so stuffed it's almost uncomfortable. If you eat the normal amount of food and you take the oils too, because the way I found this was I was starving and I had no time. Just give me some of these oils, and I was screwing around with formulas, and one of them I'm not hungry anymore. How the heck could a teaspoon of oil make me full? I don't even need lunch. And that's where I hit this. So if you do that with a big steak, you're going to feel so stuffed. So okay. I just like empty stomach. Doesn't matter with the oils.
Also, I hear people talking about doubling up on the dosage. I mean,
if you have any kind of medical condition, you want more of the oils because you're compromised. Mm-hmm. So if you have cancer, if you have heart disease, if you have arthritis, absolutely more. And then you can cut back. Osteoporosis? Yeah, you could double for that too. 90 days, that's it, and then cut back.
I have been doing a lot of researching on exogenous ketones.
Yeah, that's what we talked about. That's a high fat.
And I was wondering what your opinion of those are, because I'm just confused how it works. If you're putting the ketones into your body, and your body normally makes them if you don't take in carbs, how does that help?
Yeah, the question is ketogenic diet. True ketones, It tastes horrible. I don't know if that's what you're talking about or not. But is that like the MCT oil? Medium chain triglyceride? Bulletproof coffee or bullet something? Is that the stuff?
It's a powder, and you just mix it up, and it's got the.
Yeah, it's a medium chain triglyceride. Your brain will use this for energy, so it's okay.
But they're saying that if you, because I'm using it mostly for weight loss, and it's really not a weight loss product, but they say you do lose weight because your body starts burning fat for energy, and it puts you in ketosis.
Yeah, it's really not ketosis. I mean, ketosis is a bad medical condition. You're using your own fat for energy, so it's okay. Yeah.
So if you're putting them in, you can still burn the fat in your body.
Yeah, because you're not going to be eating so much that you shut off the fat. Remember, you've stopped the fat gaining because you're not eating the carbs. Right. And then you're not eating a lot of this stuff, so you're still going to burn, for more energy, your own body fat. That's the key. You want to be burning your own body fat for more energy than you're getting from food, or you wouldn't burn any of your own body fat. You know, if I'm eating a ton of stuff, why would I burn any body fat? I'm going to make it, if anything, or worst case, I'm not going to burn it because I'm getting so much energy from food, and it's typically from the fats for the energy. Good question. But yeah, the ketogenic diet is okay. What's the question? Oh, for me? I told him not. You want to tell him 9 o'clock? I told him 9 o'clock. Is that for me or somebody else? Yeah, just tell him not. Thanks. Yeah, my transmission died just almost in front of the store. I mean, of all the places it could go. So it made sure I was going to be here. So we still have time for a couple more questions. It's okay.
Brian, what I want to ask you is, here in the store, we've noticed that a lot of manufacturers are putting more of these PEOs, the essential oils, in their products. And so I was wanting to know if you would speak to your patent, because you cover everything.
Yeah, I have different patents, but more and more, I've been around a long time. I'm typically attacked. People criticize my work. They either don't read it, don't understand it, say things I never even said. But other people are getting it, like you need more Parent Omega-6 than Parent Omega-3. One of the products had that. I was shocked. So they say imitation's the nicest form of flattery, but there's certain things you need to know that other people aren't doing. So with what I recommend with the oils, I haven't found anybody to beat it.
Would you say more about your patent, though? In other words, the ingredient?
Well, it's ratios. The patent has ratios of oils. It's not always the specific oil, although in some cases it is. Like evening primrose is very, very good for GLA. It's superior to almost anything. There's different reasons for that people don't know. And I'm not going to tell them. But there is. And I don't sell anything. I'm a scientist. There's people that pay me as a consultant to do it. To my knowledge, there's nothing multi-level. No. I don't think anybody does. But I'm a scientist only. I do science and then tell people what to make based on the science, like ratios and, this stuff. Yes. But that's it. I don't sell anything, except books. That's okay, but I write them.
You have not mentioned strokes. I had one about 3 years ago. I didn't know I was having it. It said my mouth, I was having trouble speaking. And I'm taking some rat poison, and now I've gotten up my blood pressure medicine because my numbers are normal. But every once in a while I have a slight headache, and I don't know if that's associated with that or not.
Don't know. You speak pretty well. So you had a stroke 3 years ago. You recovered pretty well. You're lucky.
Yeah, I take a lot of vitamins, and I try to eat correctly. I've lost 20-something pounds.
Good.
And I try to exercise. So I'm going to get your product.
Well, see, yeah, it's my recommendations. It's not mine. Again, I don't sell anything. But they're made to, what I've discovered. But try it, and you're going to know fast if this works. That's the cool thing. You don't need faith. 1 month. If you don't see or feel a difference, you stop it and see how you feel afterwards. People, it doesn't do this, doesn't do that. Stop taking it. And what about this? What about that? What about the energy? What about the better? Oh, yeah, that all changed. Well, I said, then it's done that. but people aren't sensitive.
I
Yeah.
want to ask, like I have high blood pressure, can I continue to take my medications with the oil?
Yeah, question is, with high blood pressure, can you still take... Yeah, you're going to probably need less of the medication over time because this goes to the root cause of the high blood pressure. So you're going to be able to cut that back because there's always very bad side effects on drugs. But you can check with your doctor, get it measured, and then just typically cut it in half. But tell him what you're doing, and he'll agree with you because it's going to go down.
Short-term memory loss.
Question is short-term memory loss. I think that's tied to the capillaries again. So hopefully it does something. You'll have to let me know with the oils. Month or two in the brain.
He's getting tested at Cleveland Clinic.
Well, on the test, you're going to do better. We've had doctors that have tested patients. After a couple months on the oils, they do better on the memory test, cognitive test. Yeah. One in Canada has emailed me 2 or 3 times. Absolutely. Sure.
You know, we read a lot about the bulletproof coffee where you use the...
Yeah, the bulletproof coffee is the MCT
with
stuff.
with the grass-fed butter in it, can you do too much of that? Like if you had every day, by the end of the week, you've had like a stick of butter. Is that too much?
Nah, it's okay. Yeah, question is, can you overdose butter with a bulletproof coffee thing? I won't worry about it. Stick of butter a week is no sweat. It's no sweat at all.
Hi, I wanted to know if it's good for vertigo.
Vertigo, I've heard that it will help with vertigo. So you should know in a month. Actually, a guy from Canada said that it did. Yeah, let me know if it does. That too. You just got to try it. It's not like heart disease or cancer, but you may have a 50-50 shot, which is better than most things. I like a whey protein, but yeah, just on the shelf. Oh, whey protein's good, but get an unprocessed one. You know, just because you're not going to use a lot of it. Just a scoop.
My brother has gout and high blood pressure, and he was told, I see where it could help with the high blood pressure, heart issues, but with the gout, he's told not to eat a lot of red meat, and if he went to...
Yeah, question is gout. You know, is it caused by meat? They always tell you this. It's a blood buffering issue. Remember, the oils are buffers, so you don't have stuff precipitating. So that's a bunch of garbage. The oil should make a difference. Is he drinking diet soda? There's phosphates in soda that's bad.
Beer.
No, it's not diet soda. It's not bad.
I don't think he drinks.
Just had the PEOs.
They just told him not to eat a lot of red meat.
Yeah.
He's a meat eater, and
It's a buffering issue. The oils should help. Good question. Maybe 2 more questions?
What good have you found with Parkinson's? My mother-in-law's got real bad Parkinson's, and also got a friend who's got congestive heart failure.
Question is Parkinson's. The oils will help to some extent. I can't tell you how much. Heart issues, much more significant than I know of because I spent a long time in the heart. So I know how that works. With the Parkinson's, it's neurologic. There's different causes of that. So it's going to do something, but the heart is going to make a heck of a difference.
How about MS?
And that's going to give you more energy, and it's going to help there too with the nerves. I've had people say that. Herniated disc is going to be a minor, well, it's going to help the disc as much as it can, but it's not going to be as much. You're going to get anti-inflammation from the oils on the omega-6 side, but it's only going to do as much as it can do. You just have to try it and see. Neuropathy, it's excellent for. Oils are phenomenal for neuropathy. Also, alpha-lipoic acid is very good for neuropathy. That you can take too. Alpha-lipoic acid. Yeah, it's a funny name, but it's good.
Thank you.
Yeah. That it? Had good questions. Alpha, ALPHA, lipoic, and then acid. My pleasure. My pleasure. Thanks for coming.
Thank you. I didn't tell you I was 73 years of age.
Look pretty good.